The best we can to answer your questions.
Hi, Abby, you're so flexible. What were you before a flexible magician?
I actually started off, hello, this is my voice, you finally get to hear it. I started as a dancer. I grew up doing ballet, and I then went into like modern and tap and contemporary and lyrical. And my senior year of high school, I auditioned for Royal Caribbean, and they hired me as a production cast dancer. And I did that for a number of years, and then I finally met David on board this ship, actually 3.5 years ago.
This is our ship.
Would you like to hear that story of how we met? Yes? Okay.
Abby's favorite story.
I love telling this story, it's great. So I just said we met 3.5 years ago on this ship. I was a dancer in the production cast. David came on board to do his magic show. He actually hired my roommate at the time to be his assistant. So I would go and watch him and my roommate do their magic show, and he would come and support me in the production shows. We were really good friends, and after a while we started dating, and a few months into it I said, look, I really love your show. I think it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I want to transition out of doing the production shows and doing something a little different, and I would love to be in your show. Then we can stay together personally and then professionally as well. And so I kept asking him for weeks and weeks, and nagging and poking and prodding. I'm like, please let me be in the show, it would be amazing. And he said, look, you're an amazing dancer, and I would love to have you in the show, but you're too big, you won't fit in any of the illusions.
Let me explain. Each illusion has a height requirement, each box, so to speak. And the typical magician's assistant is only 5'2", maybe 5'4" at the tallest. As you can see, Abby is all legs. Tell everybody how tall you are.
I'm 5'9".
5'9". So meanwhile, I knew there's no way that she would actually physically be able to fit inside of the illusions because of her height. As a professional dancer, she certainly is flexible, but it does stop there. You cannot change the length of bones. So rather than putting her through the frustration of not being able to fit inside the box, or worse yet, even getting stuck, I figured I would save all of that and say, it's not an option. So then what happened?
Obviously, I was very upset, and we didn't know where it was going to go from there because our contracts were ending and we were going to go our separate ways, yet we wanted to stay together as a couple. So we were backstage one day. David was working on the props for his show, and I was with him, and I leant on him and said, oh, can I hold on to you for a second? I want to take off my shoes. My feet are really hurting. So I took off my shoes, and David likes to tell everyone that I went like this.
It's so true. She dropped down, the bells went off inside of my head, seeing the height difference. So I said, hold on, I'll be back. And what did I come back with?
He romantically came back with a tape measure.
I measured her, I got excited, I said, honey, you'll fit, just barely. After all the dancers I've had on stage assist me over my career, she would absolutely be the tallest. But I knew if she put a lot of hard work into it, she would just barely be able to do it. And how long did it take you to be able to just get in and out?
A good solid 6 months of just practicing, working really hard, and that's just getting in and out without getting stuck or having a panic attack or freaking out, or him playing a joke on me and going, oh, I'm going to go to lunch, see you in a few hours. So it was really difficult transitioning from dancing on an open stage where you can get your equilibrium, you get fresh cycling air, to being crammed in a small tiny box that's dark with smoke, and you're getting spun around, and I don't know which way's up and forward. It's a really big transition for me, but I'm glad I made it because I love what I do now.
That's the story. As Abi points out, it's even more challenging because she is in the dark, being spun around. She doesn't know which way is which. And if you add the element of moving cruise ship to it. Now last night we had the luxury of being docked, performing on a solid stage. However, we cruise 10 months out of the year. So with that, most of the time we are moving on a moving cruise ship with a moving stage. So that element in itself is pretty challenging. The fact that she's in a box, locked, with movement, in wheels, on a moving stage, anything is possible. So sometimes we don't even know what's going to happen. So that definitely throws things into a different element, so to speak. Any other questions? Alina is here with the microphone. She'll go around for you. Thank you.
Abby, I would like to know your age and your weight. How do you stay so smooth?
Well, a lady never reveals her age. As for my weight, I won't tell you that either, but I will tell you since I started doing the magic show, I've lost quite a lot of weight to make my job a lot easier. I tell people that I don't step on a scale. My scale reference is the illusions. So when I get into an illusion and it feels tight, I know I need to cut back on the cookies or something like that. But I have a very strict diet. I try to work out as much as I can. We love seeing all of you here on vacation, eating as much as you can, having all the fun in the world. But for this is our workplace, this is our office. So we treat it very seriously, and I would love to go and eat ice cream and cookies and cake and pizza every day, but unfortunately I can't, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do my job. So I hope that satisfies what you asked, because I'm not actually going to tell you.
This is our work, so we treat it as such. We do treat ourselves to things from time to time. However, we're here for one reason, and that's for all of you, so we can perform the best possible show that we can perform. There's so much that goes into it.
I was wondering, when did you start getting into magic and why?
I started magic when I was only 8 years old. And what intrigued me was the looks on everybody's face. I know when I started watching it on television, I know how I became. The big eyes, the smile, the jaw drops from time to time, and it was just so impressive and amazing. And I started performing the small little magic tricks that was bought in a store. And I went on to do birthday parties, and everything just grew from that moment on. But I became fascinated with the joy it gave others to watch the other people smile, and the gift I was giving them to see the expression on their face. And I just wanted to spread as much joy as I possibly could. It was a good feeling for me, a good feeling for them, and it was a great mutual relationship in that sense. Yeah.
Hi again. Do you only do your magic on this Royal Caribbean ship, or do you walk around to other ships so they can experience it?
Good question. We've done other cruise lines as well. However, Royal Caribbean fills most of our year, and this is really our home base. Royal Caribbean is like our second family to us. So we try and fill it up as much as we can. We really love it here.
Always on this ship, though?
Always on this ship? We've been here for quite a while. However, no, we've done a lot of Royal Caribbean ships out of their entire fleet. Yes. So I've been doing cruise ships now for 10 years, so I've been on a decent amount of ships.
Congratulations on a sensational performance last night, and I would give you a 10 out of 10. My question is, how many illusionists are there in the world that also score 10 out of 10 like you folks?
That is so kind. Thank you. That means a lot. We put a lot of work into that, so that's very kind words.
The question is, how many other illusionists in the world are at your caliber?
Ooh, so now I got your exact question. That's really very challenging to answer because there's magic on every different level. There's a lot of amateur magicians out there, there's semi-pros, and there's professionals of every level. We are blessed. We put so much hard work into this where there's a lot of people under us, but there's also a lot of people on top as well. So it's just, the scale always changes. So I hope that answers your question. It's really difficult to answer what level this is.
Oh, it's 10 out of 10.
Thank you. I do know that cruise ships are a great contract for us. Even better than our Las Vegas contract. I mean, we are not here by coincidence. We are here by choice, and it's a wonderful place to be.
Hi. Okay, I'm legally blind. Now, I saw your show last night with my mom, and I loved it, for one. My question for you is, though, how do you make your shows so every single person, like a person with a disability, can enjoy it and they can understand and follow you and know what's going on?
Wow. Thank you for your kind words. We structure the show for everybody internationally, meaning if we were to poll this audience, to poll you and ask questions about what your favorite part of the show is, everybody would have a different answer. Some of you would say your favorite is the Las Vegas Grand Scale Illusions. Others would say your favorite is the comedy magic, the close-up magic on the big screens, and so on and so forth. And that's no accident. The thing is, everybody has their own preference of style of magic in which they enjoy. So Abby and I set out to design a show that reflects exactly that. Something for everybody, and hopefully at any moment of our show, we will hit your favorite type of magic. We also tried to mix the perfect blend of music versus speaking, and even interacting with the audience and bonding and connecting, and putting things on the big screen. So hopefully you picked up on something that was your favorite and that you can relate to. But overall, everything in our show is passionate, it's from our hearts. Because without that, it really means nothing. We're just up there moving around illusions. So it really starts from the heart first.
Hi, I enjoyed the show last night. And when you're there watching the show and you see this noise and everything going in the box, it looks dangerous for us. How's it going to get some people hurt? Have you ever guessed that?
Abby has bruises all over. Maybe she can tell you what it's like to be inside.
It does look dangerous for you as an audience. Realistically, the swords and the blades and everything like that are sharp. They're not dull, but they wouldn't cut me. So if I got hit by one of them, it wouldn't slice me open, but it wouldn't hurt. I'd have a cut on me. As far as anything going wrong, little things, I mean, I've had injuries like broken toes and things like that. We've had broken panels, broken doors, things breaking on the illusion as we're performing it, that you just have to keep going, try and cover it up as much as we can. We had an incident last night, if you want to talk about that.
I don't know how many people were at our 9 o'clock performance last night, but that was done on the spot. At the 7 o'clock performance, our opening illusion actually broke just as the curtains were opening. And so seconds before the reveal, the stage staff, who was so incredible here, had to grab it and pull it into the wings, and we had seconds to redo the beginning and come out and start the show as if there was nothing wrong. And so for the 9 o'clock show, that was restaged for that. It was an illusion which I magically appear on stage, and then I would appear, then make Abby appear from the cage illusion with the streamers. So there are certain things that happen. It's the nature of it, unfortunately, but it's how we handle it and how things move on from it that really takes its course.
I want to just tell this one story. This is more funny than upsettingly bad. I think it was about a year ago. We were on a ship and we were in the middle of the show doing the illusion with the red box and the blade and the 2 tubes, and then David pushes it over and then I stick out my hand. We're in the middle of that and it hit the climax and I stick out my hand and we're going and the music's going, and the music, the curtains, the lighting, everything is run by a computer at that point of the show. So the computer is automatically sending all the signals, so everything's going at once and it finishes perfectly all together. So we're in the middle of performing it and we hear dun, dun. They came in the theater to do an announcement of someone on the ship they were trying to find, or page, or something was going on, and it shut down everything. The lights went out, the sound went out, everything stopped, and I'm locked in a box while they do this 2-minute long announcement of trying to phone someone. So that was funny. The audience started laughing, and David was laughing, and he's joking like, "I'll get you out, don't worry." And I'm there like, "Hurry up!"
Things that are unplanned for, right? As they say in show business, you need a plan A and B. We joke and say we need plans A through Z. We need backups for backups. But even the story that Abby just shared, we didn't have a backup for it. Who saw that coming? You just can't prepare for an announcement shutting down the show. So getting back to what you said, things are dangerous, but things do have backups. So we really try and think of everything. The most dangerous thing would be in rough seas. And if it's that rough, then the show would get postponed. But we've definitely performed in rough seas before, and the most dangerous is when Abby floats gracefully on the light bulb and when the ship is moving.
I want to congratulate you again on a terrific show. They said you performed at the Magic Castle. If you could elaborate on that a little bit, what it's like.
The Magic Castle in Hollywood, California, for those, I see some people nodding their head. If you don't know, it's the world's most prestigious place in magic. And ever since I was a little boy growing up, I would always idolize that place. And it's where all the top business professionals, magicians and illusionists perform there. What makes it extra prestigious is it's by invitation only. So you don't pursue them as a business client to say, "Let me sell you my show." They have to learn about you and seek you out. And I got the call many years ago to be invited to perform there and to headline their main stage. And it was just an incredible moment in my career that I always remember. And a big part of the magic community came out to show their support and love and to be in the audience. So now I'm performing, headlining on the stage, looking out and seeing my heroes that I looked up to in the audience clapping for me and everything, and that was just a really special moment. Ironically, how things took the turn is they loved the show so much that they gave numerous invitations to come back, but that was the same moment that my cruise ship career was exploding and taking off. And so unfortunately, I only had that 1 week there to perform, because ever since then I've been booked solid on cruise ships. And it's so much to move the Haines Magic Show that there's really no such thing as zipping off a ship, performing there, and coming back. So it really has to be planned accordingly. But it was a real special moment. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, many years ago I performed on some of the cruise ships, playing piano and doing piano bars as a musician over in Norway, Germany, Sweden. I was wondering if it was different as the ships here in the States. Some of the people I met aboard, I did several nights a week in my show, and yet I met many of the musicians who had been on it for quite a while, and they performed or did other functions throughout the time during the day. Now, I didn't know if that was that the case with the ships here, or do you simply do your shows, or do you have to do anything else at any of the other times?
Sure, I understand your question. That depends on the type of contract that is signed. There's different entertainers on different contract levels, and I can't speak for another person's contract and what they agree to and what their manager says. I know how it is for us. We come on as a headliner status, if you will, and with that, there's a certain contract that comes with that. And so, no, we don't have any of those other duties to do. But with that, there's also a lot of behind the scenes that people do not see for us. Unfortunately, sometimes people only see what's on the stage. And so they say, well, you only perform 2 times a week. So then they think that we're off enjoying the tropical islands the rest of the time. Well, with us, that's certainly not the case, because we have thousands of pounds of equipment to manage. We have a whole team of 10 people backstage behind the scenes to manage as well. And many times, the night before we perform, we're even in the theater until 3 o'clock in the morning, just setting up the show for the night. So as Abby and I say, we don't have those other duties. However, we are either setting up the show, preparing to do the show, doing the show, recovering from the show, or doing this chat, and then it's time to do it all over again.
Well, it's obvious that, the old saying, do what you love most, you obviously do, because the show was impeccable. It could not have been a finer performance. And that's, you answer my question, because you didn't get to be able to do what you do by sitting around in the pool all day long. You obviously have done a lot of rehearsing and a lot of hard work to get where you are, and I'm very proud of you. God bless you.
Thank you for your kind words and acknowledgement.
I hope I'm not asking secrets, but the props are spectacular. Do you build them, or you purchase them, or what? Where do these things come from?
The people that build for David Copperfield also build for Haines Magic. And so we go to the best that we can in the business. And with that, there's a large expense and also royalty fees. So we pay them for their invention, and then we take it from there. Sometimes we collaborate with our own invention, and we build upon one another. It can take approximately 2 years to actually see a finished product, though. It all starts with blueprints, goes to 3D animation on computer, and then they do mock-ups and versions, and by the time it actually gets in our hands, it could be up to 2 years. So there is a lot of behind the scenes that go from that, but it's usually with David Copperfield's people that we feel most comfortable with, because it is the best. Yes, I'll give you a little insight. An illusion that we're researching now, just a little bit behind the scenes, costs $175,000. Takes 1 minute to perform and deals with a helicopter. Now, if you think about it, the show you just saw last night was 47 minutes long. This is $175,000 for only 1 minute to change. So that's how extreme things can be behind the scenes.
On your list?
Mine isn't really a question, but for your wife, I just wanted to give her a compliment on her costumes, because they're still respectable and sexy.
Thank you. That's very nice. There's always that fine line of magic where you want to be somewhat sexy, alluring, but not over the edge. And because we're on a family-friendly ship, I can't cross that line. Sometimes I see amazing costumes that are too Vegas and too maybe exposed, and I say, I love that, Dave, like, you can't wear that. No, you can't wear that, that's not okay. So, thank you for that compliment, that's very nice.
The one thing, let's address a hot topic every week, twins. Each and every week, the twins topic gets brought up, so let's make that happen for you. People think that our grand finale, our last illusion, when we exchange places so quickly, is actually done with twins. And the fact is, no, it's not. And the reason why is because, number one, Abi doesn't have a twin. And number two,